Okay, we're going to be working with royal icing in this session, and we're going to be decorating some round biscuits and making some ice gems and piping with royal icing. Just to start off with, I've made some short paste. I'm going to make two types of biscuit base out of them, a large round one I'm going to dot this before it goes into the oven to make sure it's flat when it comes out. And we're going to be making some smaller ones, okay, for our ice gems. Now, if you don't have a cutter at home, that's fine. You can use a glass for the large ones and maybe a bottle top for the smaller ones, okay. So I'm going to bake them off now. I'm also going to stick the link to short bread at the end in the comments, so you can refresh how to make that. It's a very easy pastry to make. It's 3, 2, 1. 3 parts flour, 2 parts butter for shortbread, or margarine for shortcake, and 1 part sugar. Okay, so we're making royal icing. Royal icing is a mixture of icing sugar and egg white. And if you're using a mixer, you can mix it on slow speed. It'll take about 3 to 4 minutes. And if you're mixing it by hand, again, it'll take a bit longer, but stir it through. I usually use 1 egg white from a large egg for about 8 ounces of icing sugar, or 220 grams. Okay, so you're looking for a nice thick consistency. Some people will like it a bit lighter. You could add a bit more egg white in there if you wanted a bit softer. You can also add things like glucose syrup to it to keep the icing soft. Or if you want the icing to set quicker, you can add a bit of vinegar. So it's a bit like a really thick meringue. Okay, so royal icing sets really hard. Okay, so the biscuits that we made a while ago, we're going to be doing 2 things with them. The larger round circles, we're going to be decorating them with royal icing. And the small round ones, we're going to be decorating them with royal icing as well. Okay, so to get the feel of royal icing, and it's used for a lot of different reasons. You can make decorations, pipe them out, they'll dry, and you can store them and use them at a later date. You can decorate cakes with it, and of course the piping on the cake to finish it off. So it's a multi-use icing. Okay, so what we're going to do is a quick recap on making a piping bag. So you have a square of paper, you fold that in half, cut it out. Okay, so you have a right angled triangle there, okay? Now what we're going to do is bring the 3 points together. So this point comes to here, and the other one's going around the back. Okay, there's going to be a link underneath to how to make a piping bag, so you can have a quick look at that as well, okay? When the 3 points come together, it'll form a cone with a point at the end, and if you look through it, you shouldn't be able to see any light, okay? Fold that down, and your piping bag's ready to go. So we're just going to do a few piping exercises to get used to royal icing before we move on. Okay, so I filled the bag halfway with some royal icing. I've coloured it, so you should be able to see it a bit easier on the paper. To close off your bag, you want to fold in the corners and then roll it down, okay? Okay, so you can use nozzles, you can get plastic ones, you can get metal ones, and they all have different toppings which will give you a different finish when you're piping the icing. But for these exercises we're not going to use any nozzles, okay? Okay, so we're just going to cut the top of the bag straight across. Just the tip, okay? And we can start piping then, okay? Alright, so when you're piping royal icing, what you want to do is join the icing to the base you're piping on and lift up your bag, okay? So when you lift up the bag, you can control where the icing goes. So a good exercise to do is some hoops, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm piping on the paper, lifting it up, creating a circle, and down, and creating a circle underneath, and back up. Okay, and another good exercise is to try some lettering and try pipe out the alphabet. Okay, and this will give you a feel for piping, okay? It'll give you the experience of piping royal icing, okay? And we're going to need that when we're decorating the biscuits and all that. Okay, so we're going to finish off the ice gems now. I've finished some of them. I've coloured some royal icing, started off with just plain white, done some blue, some red, some yellow. Just going to finish off the kind of chocolatey colour now. Okay, so I have my bag filled. I'm going to take a nice bit off the bag so it's nice and thick. And what you do is just start off in the middle, round in a circle, and a little peak on top, okay? So very simple finish, okay? So these take maybe an hour and a half to set. After that, you can bag them up in small bags and give them out as party treats or display them in a big bowl and leave them out. Kids absolutely love them, and they're very easy to do. Okay, so we're going to be doing our decorated biscuits next. Okay, so we're going to decorate our biscuits now using the royal icing, okay? So we have our shortbread biscuit base there, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trace a circle around the edge with royal icing. Okay, so this is the royal icing that's been mixed and nothing's been done to it. Okay, so I'm coming slightly in from the edge of the biscuit, okay? Okay, so I've piped the border around there using some royal icing. Okay. When you're finished with your bag, what you want to do is you want to protect that tip, so you can pinch it and fold it, or you can put it on top of a damp cloth. Okay. Same with your icing when you're not using it. You can cover it with plastic like cling film, or cover the bowl. It's not touching the icing itself, but with a damp cloth, and that's going to protect the icing from drying out and skidding over. Okay, so I have another bit of royal icing here that I've taken out of the bowl. Again, I've not done anything with this so far. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill our border with a run-out icing. Okay. So all we're going to do is tin this down by adding a small bit of water. Now you're going to need a tiny bit of water, so be very careful when you're adding it. Sometimes I'd use a teaspoon just to judge it, and just add small bits of water until you get the right consistency, okay? Because if you put in too much water into it, it's going to be too liquid, it'll just pour everywhere, okay? So very slowly, small bits of water, okay? And stir it in until you get the right consistency you're looking for. Okay, so you want the consistency to be where the icing starts to spread off the spoon, okay? So it's kind of falling off the spoon naturally itself. That way when we pipe it onto the biscuit, it's going to spread out itself. It's going to run out. Took a lot more water than I thought it was going to take. Okay, we'll be nearly getting there now. You can see it's starting to drip, but we want it to run off. Okay, you see now it's starting to flow, okay? I'm just going to add another tiny drop of water. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so I'm using a large paper bag, and I'm going to pour this in. Again, I'm not going to overfill the bag because I want to control it, alright? Put myself off the top here. Okay, and then we're going to fill the space in between the border that we've just piped out there. Okay, so when I'm piping, I'm not completely filling it in, okay? Alright, so I haven't completely filled it in, and I'm just going to help it out to the border then, okay? Okay, so there's our filled iced biscuit, okay? We're going to decorate this using marbling technique. Okay, so I have some brown royal icing again that I've watered down very slightly. And I'm just going to pipe straight lines across. Okay, so I've piped straight lines across. And what we're going to do then, just using the tip of a knife, is drag it up and down to create a marbling. And there's our marbled biscuit. Okay, I'm going to show you some more techniques now. I'm just going to face the camera down so you'll see how they're finished. Okay, so another way of marbling. So again, filled with white, piped circles of brown, and then from the middle Just going out. And then coming in from the sides. Put a bit of yellow in the middle. Give it a flowery look. Okay, so made the lines a bit thicker this time, and again using different colors. Just to get another kind of flowery finish on it. Okay, so again, white base. I put a nice dollop of red in the middle. Keep it round. Okay, so if you drag your knife through the circle shape, you get a nice heart. Okay. Valentine's Day. Okay, so I'm going to finish off the rest of the biscuits and show you the results at the end.